Nestled in the toonland of Lisnacree, where the Mournes aye hing o'er the Irish Sea, NearyNógs Chocolate Crafts, frae bean to bar, say the sweet lippet can pree their gear. Our chocolate meisters they ken the rig o' stain grun cocoa sae smooth and trig. I hear skip bigot under trade fair and good fae forest floor to Turnaog.
So my name's Shane Neary, one of the owners at NearyNógs Chocolate.
And I'm Dorothy Neary, and I'm the founder and chocolate maker here.
Neither Dorothy or myself comes from a chocolate making background. We both come from quite different occupations. And originally we did the chocolate making as a fundraiser.
Our oldest daughter was going to India. She's volunteering in an orphanage, and she'd worked really hard, saved up, but she was short a little bit of funds. So we said we would do an open mic night, and then my mom was visiting from the States, and she said, well, I'll give you my chocolate fudge recipe and you can do a bunch of jars of that. So we did. And on the night, people came back and said, would you come to my market? Could you do my wedding favors? And in the process of that, one of our daughters was quite sick, and we were going back and forth to the hospital all the time. So actually, this was my medicine. It was like chocolate was my therapy of sorts. And also, we were able to build it around her and her health needs. So now here we are after all this time, and it's still working.
Divulge in the spellbinding tale of a family's chocolate heritage, entwined amongst the grand beauty of the Mourne Mountains.
Because we're sourcing cocoa beans from the farms, sometimes foreign contaminants can get into the cocoa bean bags, like rocks, sticks, insects, shoelaces, you name it, metal objects. So what Peter's doing here is he's sorting through the cocoa beans to make sure that there's no stuff in there that can actually damage our equipment, or if you eat a rock, you know, it's not good for your teeth. So he can actually do a couple of 100 kilos a day if he knows what he's looking for. Roasting is a massive part of the process. That would be the main part where we veer from big industry. We gentle roast. So we don't burn the cacao, or we don't over process it, so that way it maintains all the health benefits and all the origin flavours. You can actually roast your cocoa beans at a lower temperature and it'll actually make your chocolate more of a florally, fruity kind of flavour. You can roast your cacao at a higher temperature and it makes it more of a caramelised kind of flavour. So it's kind of fun. You can play with different origins and get different flavour profiles just at the roasting stage. There's a natural fat in cacao called cocoa butter. Whenever it heats up, it becomes a liquid. So by grinding the cocoa nibs, you create a chocolate liquor, and which eventually becomes like a very viscous fluid. And at that stage, you can also add sugar to your cacao as well, or your chocolate mix. We would do that for a minimum 24 hours, up to 70 hours, or even more, depending on what we're actually making. And that's a crucial part as well, because that would dictate how bitter your chocolate is. And after that stage, we get the chocolate and we store it in blocks for roughly around 30 days. And after that, we go into the tempering stage, and that's where Dorothy does her thing.
I think some people have that notion, oh, is it like Willy Wonka? And I suppose maybe there is an element. You know, we've got this machine's making a whir sound and a whoosh sound. When it looks like this, it's a showstopper. You know, it's beautiful, it smells amazing, but I think it's also quite a serious thing that we do in here because we take it quite serious and we're very passionate at what we do. It's Easter time now, so we've got some Easter eggs we're working on. Last year we did 18,000 mini eggs, and then we do truffles. Unfortunately, the truffles, we don't have like a mold for those, so we do them all by hand. So like sometimes we've got thousands and thousands of truffles to work on. This is fine.
So sometimes we would go to Europe or the States for international events and things like that. And there's lots of other chocolate makers there, and they've all got their own stalls, and they promote their local cultures in their chocolate making. And I think that stuck with us quite strongly. There's guys in Asia, and they put shrimp in their chocolate. Guys in Scandinavia, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, they would love licorice in their chocolate or fennel flavours. So that's really stuck with us as well, that we need to promote or put an emphasis on our local culture and local ingredients in our chocolate, so that whenever people do come from other countries, they get to experience something that they won't get elsewhere.
On our Dulaman bar, it has the seaweed in it and then the gorse flowers. So I pick the gorse myself and the seaweed. And so actually we have an agreement with a few local farmers that there's certain gorse bushes, please don't cut down, because those are the ones that I go and pick from.
And one of our newest bars would be a soda bread bar, but there's bound to be more to come, wouldn't you say so?
Yep.
These are cocoa pods. So inside the centre you've got about 40 to 60 seeds per each pod. The seeds are normally pulled out of the pod for chocolate production. The farmers would ferment the cocoa beans on the farm, and that changes the flavour. They're then dried, put into bags and shipped over here to us in Northern Ireland.
We can only make chocolate as good as the farmers who grow it. So it's a collaboration, it's a joint effort. You know, if they don't do such a fabulous job, then my job isn't going to be so great. But they do an amazing job, and I think that's why I love what we do. Because there's such passion and care that goes into growing the cocoa beans. We know where they came from, we know the farmers. You know, we pay anywhere from 6 to 12 times above what big industry pays.
The reason we do that is so that the farmers can have a living wage, and it bypasses a lot of the problems that you can get in cacao farming, for example, like slavery, human trafficking. So by paying the farmers a living wage, you bypass a lot of the socio-economic and environmental problems as well. So it's a $44 billion industry worldwide, but craft chocolate is only 1% of that. So it is a small percentage, but it is growing.
Some people say, oh, why is chocolate so expensive? But what we really need to be asking ourselves is, why is chocolate so cheap? Because if it is that price, then what must the farmers must have got paid? Do you know? And that's a question we all need to ask ourselves. I always say craft chocolate is chocolate with soul, because everybody along the way is so invested in it and put their heart and soul into it, whereas big industry chocolate looks different. It's been a long process.
We're still learning.
And the journey never ends. We have a saying in here, school every day. Every day. So.
And detention and all that kind of stuff.
Only I get detention. So.